Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's the Tuesday Breakfast Show on Radio Jordan with yours, Ghada. Today is the 7th of July. So, as I promised earlier, with me on the phone right now is His Excellency Minister of Youth, Mr. Fares Braizat. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How's your day so far? Pretty good?
So far, so good. We did the morning walk and it's beautiful.
Wow, that's cool. يعطيك العافية. All right, sir, prior to and during the coronavirus crisis, the Ministry of Youth has been working on numerous projects and activities to engage young people and encourage them to divert any pent-up energy into volunteering, training, and growth. Your Excellency, you started the Jordan Volunteering Bank through Nahnu platform for volunteering to respond to the COVID-19 crisis. Can you please tell us what is the aim of this project?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
Actually, the whole idea of the Jordan Volunteering Bank came about as a result of the crisis that we lived through during the coronavirus. We discovered that there is a lot of volunteering work going on in the country, yet it is not organized. And it doesn't work according to set guidelines, professional guidelines in terms of training in times of crisis and the way to handle different situations in the medical field, for example, and in a situation like the pandemic we live in these days. It requires certain requirements, certain sets of rules, and specific professional training that wasn't present, and there was no umbrella to cover all of that work. So it was upon the direction of the Prime Minister that we should look into this issue. We looked into it and we came up with the idea that we should create an umbrella that will work according to the Jordanian law. And we discovered that there isn't any law in Jordan that would regulate volunteering. So this is one of the things that we will introduce soon, a legislation that will organize and regulate the volunteering work in Jordan. The bigger idea, it is actually going to build, as you mentioned, on the Nahnu platform, which is a project that was designed and implemented starting last year between the Ministry of Youth, UNICEF, and the Crown Prince Foundation. Now, Nahnu as a platform is going to be the rails for this project to run on. We aspire to achieve a few things. One of them is to be able to issue a passport or a card. It's called the volunteering passport or the volunteering card, where all their volunteering hours will be recorded, and they shall be counted for them for job interviews, and they should get some preferential marks, whether they are applying for jobs in the private sector or in the public sector. As far as the public sector is concerned, we're talking to the Ministry of Labor and the Civil Service Bureau, so they have it in their bylaws and their regulations in order to be useful. The other thing that came out also of this was launching the Al-Hussein bin Abdullah Prize for volunteering. And this is basically a way to say thank you for those who volunteer their time and their money and their effort helping others. There is no financial or monetary compensation for those people, but the best way probably to do that is to offer them a good thank you, and what is better than a royal thank you through a prize. Of course, we aspire to bring to the scene competition, positive competition, and motivation. We hope that the programs we are designing to do that these days are going to help. The other interesting fact is that today we have around 34,000 volunteers registered on the platform Nahnu. This will be developed even further, because there is a responsibility that goes with volunteering to protect the volunteers themselves and also to protect the recipients of their work. So that we have to make sure that all those who volunteer are security checked, and those who receive the service are also security checked, and that requires a smart system, an intelligent system that is connected to all other government platforms that would make that data available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Sir, the Youth Ministry is in the process of launching Al Hussein bin Abdullah II Voluntary Award. Please, can you tell us more about it?
Basically, again, we would like to say thank you, and I think we should recognize the efforts of people who volunteer their time and their effort. Until now, we have designed the bylaws and the conditions upon which, and this is being discussed today through focus groups and different expert groups. And those people are involved because of their expertise, long-standing experience in the field, helping with to basically improve all the regulations that we are working on for the prize. Probably it will not be released soon because we want to make sure that it's not going to be done haphazardly, and it has to be done properly and professionally. That requires an empirical database upon which this will be awarded. And that requires the bank to be operational, to be working, delivering the data that we need in order to make sure that the prize is given to the right people based on actual and measurable and known and published performance.
Sir, what is the Ministry, Minister of Youth, doing to improve the financial sustainability of the sports cities, social and cultural club registered with the Ministry?
Well, as part of, again, reforming the Ministry and its operations, we also discovered very early on in my post that we have to find a way to make the sport clubs sustainable. Currently, they have some of their own income. The ministry supports a little bit, but that is not enough to make them competitive globally in the various sports that they play or in the various activities, whether social or cultural, that they perform. Therefore, we came up with an idea that how about we turn these clubs into companies, and that requires a change of regulation, and now we are in the process of doing that, so they will be able to sustain themselves and they will be able to operate. They will have to raise their own money and spend it in the way they see fit and proper. Now, also on the other side, as the ministry, we, as a regulator of this sector, we also provide the infrastructure for those clubs to play, whether it's football or basketball or volleyball or swimming, squash courts, you name it. We provide the infrastructure, and it's provided for free for all activities. And that has brought some difficulties in the maintenance and sustainability of the facilities. So we would like to also introduce a program, and we have talked to all concerned parties within government and within the sector to introduce a model by which whenever these facilities are not used by the clubs, where they will be invested by the private sector or the clubs themselves in order to generate revenue to improve the financial situation of the clubs and all the other games that they play. Also, we have the youth hostels.
Yeah, I was about to mention it.
Yes, as part of the package.
Yeah.
The 5 big cities we have, sports cities we have in Amman, Irbid, Zarqa, Madaba, and Tafi, and Aqaba.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 cities. We will work on their improvement in order to get them in a better shape and to make them financially sustainable, while at the same time offering the services they offer to our youth and the communities where they are. Now, the youth hostels, part of that package, they are used probably only one month a year during Al Hussein camps in the summertime.
Yeah.
And we have 15 of those. They house around 1,100 beds. across the kingdom, and they are not rated. So we started by rating them with the Ministry of Tourism, and now we will offer them for operators from the private sector in order to also generate some revenue to spend on other activities of the ministry, especially the youth centers we have 197 of them, and 91 of them are owned by the ministry. They are in good shape. The rest of them are rented, and they need a lot of work in order to live up to the expectations and the standards that we would like to have for our youth. So this is part of a bigger project, reforming the way the ministry operates with its facilities, and also we would like to do more in terms of investment in big sports cities, and we have talked to the investment commission, Jordan Investment Board. Now we're introducing ideas probably to create a commercial sports city in Aqaba, another one in the Dead Sea. These are concepts that are being discussed today. Hopefully we'll be able to pull them off soon in order to offer them as investment opportunities for people who are interested in investment and sports together.
Speaking of youth hostels, unfortunately, they have been barely used this year due to the pandemic. Sir, can you please tell us about the Youth Ministry's ongoing work with the Education Ministry and the partnership with UNICEF?
Sure. With UNICEF, we have partnered on many projects. Maharat program, which is skills program that offers the youth life skills in terms of communication and how to handle different situations in life. And also we have a partnership with UNICEF and the Crown Prince Foundation on Nahnu, the volunteering back, and we are also having them developing some of our youth centers across the kingdom. With the Ministry of Education, there are two things that we are working on. One is we offered, and it was an initiative from myself as early as December last year, to offer the youth centers in the morning to the ministry as nurseries, because there are many places in the country that do not have nurseries, and there is a lack of buildings to house nurseries. So the idea developed into a bigger national project with the involvement of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Social Development and other entities. So we offered all what we have facilities where the Ministry of Education needs buildings, and we were supposed to start in September, but due to the pandemic, probably this will be delayed as schools will not be open. Probably that depends on the situation of the virus. So the other program we work with the Ministry of Education on is we get a lot of requests for people to build youth centers, and we think I think there is a lot of waste in this. Traditionally, we built youth centers in areas where we have a good secondary school for boys or girls. So our proposal was to actually improve the infrastructure of the schools, and they can be used in the afternoon as youth centers, and in the morning the students would go to those schools. So the benefit is for the school children and for the youth after school hours, because usually schools in the afternoon, they are ghost buildings. So we should make them community hubs, and to make them community hubs, you have to introduce some attractive activities and attractive infrastructure, so students would go with their parents, and then it becomes a community hub again, or providing a public space for people to engage and to spend some time together.
Minister of Youth, Your Excellency Fares Braizat, are there any programs launched to reach out to Jordanian students abroad?
Actually, there was a program at the ministry, and I was surprised to discover that was stopped years ago. And now we will reintroduce this program in order to reach our youth abroad. And hopefully we'll be able to organize events for them in Jordan summertime this year. Probably if we cannot do it physically, we can do something online, and probably next year we'll be able to do both online and offline. But also yesterday we signed an agreement with the USAID to do a few things. One of them is to continue building the virtual youth center, which is going to be online, where we will provide all the materials that we would like to offer to our youth, and all of them will have access to it. And this is to reach the people who cannot reach us. Those who cannot come to a youth center, who cannot join our activities, we still can provide them with what we would like to offer them online.
Yeah. Well, another ministry program that began last year is the Youth Government and Parliament program. What is this program all about?
It is a training program. Now it has 156 members. 96 for the youth parliament training youth parliament, and the rest for the youth training youth government. And they are providing programs. Basically, we ask them to develop policy options and policy alternatives for the current problems they face. In fact, today we are having a session with them. The government is going to sit on one side, the parliament on the other side, and I would like them to talk about the ideas they have developed to address the tourism sector. And we invited experts, the Ministry of Tourism and the Jordan Tourism Board, to attend to evaluate this activity. Also, we have many other activities that they are working on. And hopefully we'll be able to come up with good ideas, because I do believe that our youth are the factory of ideas to solve our problems. We requested, we asked them to do so, including in the second forum during the pandemic. We launched the second entrepreneurs forum. And we asked them to focus on 3 areas: tourism, agriculture and food security, and health. We received over 300 initiatives. Now they are in the last stage of evaluation. And now actually they are attending also, those who were shortlisted, they are attending a training camp on entrepreneurship and business management and what goes with it. Hopefully before the end of this month we will have it announced, including giving the prizes for the winners. Usually we give 3 of them, the best 3 initiatives, a financial prize, and we connect them to trainers, professional trainers, and the incubators, the funders. So all those, we get them together and help the youth to go forward. We have another initiative that will be launched soon called Riyada fi Riyada, entrepreneurship in sports. Basically, this again, it was a response to a challenge that we had. We have around 6,000 graduates who studied physical education at universities, and they are unemployed. And we have also, on the other hand, the facilities of the sports cities that belong to the ministry. They are underutilized. So what we offered them in a concept that you need to, if you come up with an idea that you want to start a sport academy of sorts, whatever topic that you want to train on, we will offer you the facilities in an agreement, how many hours you need to use it and all of that. And we will offer some training through the youth leadership training center we have at the ministry. And then if you pass the requirements, then you can go on and use the facilities to start your academy. We'll give you enough time to manage to stand on your own feet as a young entrepreneur, youth entrepreneur. And if that happens and you get up and running, then we'll get into another agreement down the road where you can use the facilities and continue to grow and employ other physical education unemployed youth.
So last but not least, Your Excellency, young people are top priority for all institutions. Well, can you please tell us more about the ministry's projects at Al Hussein camps and Youth Leaders Network, please.
Yes. Well, at Hussein camps, yesterday we had the honor of hosting the Prime Minister to inaugurate one of the camps this year, which was all online, which is entrepreneurship and the virtual reality.
Yeah.
And he encouraged the youth to continue to do what they have to do. We have this year 31,000 students or youth registered to participate. The first 2 weeks, we witnessed around 6,000 students, youth participating in our different camps. And this year, they range, basically, again, it is a response to the challenges that we have seen in the pandemic time. Whether it's entrepreneurship or agriculture or safety and security, social cohesion, all these programs were introduced, new programs in the Hussein camps. And this is not going to end. We will continue this. Probably will have it running for a longer time next year, and also it will be online and offline at the same time, because we want to make sure that the youth who have no physical access to the camps, they still can join the camps online.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the leadership network is concerned, yesterday we had a meeting in the evening around 8 p.m. It was again a virtual online meeting to talk about their activities and what they are doing. The main idea of the youth networks, leadership networks, is to focus on development in their local areas. And we introduced a program in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism to start tourism festivals in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We introduced 38 concepts for 38 festivals. Again, because of the pandemic, we had to redesign this. Now, probably this year, we will launch a group of them, probably around 19, but not sure yet because of the pandemic situation.
Yeah.
And our role basically is to get, for each of those festivals, you need 20 people, 10 boys, 10 girls to operate it. So we will train them a week in advance, then they will run the festival, and then after that we will ask them to form companies if they are interested in forming companies to manage festivals. So this is part of the training on self-employment, because our biggest challenge in the country today is unemployment, and youth unemployment is even more significant, and female youth unemployment is even more significant. Therefore, we have to cater for these needs. These are small initiatives compared to the challenge of the problem and the problem we have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better to start somewhere than not to start at all.
Sure. All right, Your Excellency, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I really appreciate it. And يعطيك ألف عافية. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the luck in the work.
Appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. So, my friends, that was His Excellency Minister of Youth, Fares Braizat, on Radio Jordan 96.3. We'll be back after the news at exactly 9 for the second part of the show. Keep it locked right here.